Katka Reschke is a writer and documentary filmmaker. She specializes in human rights, social justice, minority and gender issues, as well as Polish-Jewish history and relations. So I'd like to welcome Katka Reschke.
Somehow we still wonder if we should be more Jewish, or how Jewish should we be? How many children should we have in order to make sure there is a Jewish future? And I think in that sense, in Israel, our Jewish identities as Polish Jews have an easier way. And that's why I think it's like identity vacation. And that's how it felt for me a little bit, and I missed the intensity of being a Jew in Poland. And you and I share the same thought. We feel most Jewish in Poland, and we've lived in New York and Israel, arguably the two most Jewish places on the planet. But we feel most Jewish in Poland against this landscape, with the challenges here. I think it's the challenges that make me feel more Jewish here than anywhere else.
That's right.
Thank you so
Laura, how are you?
My godparents raised me with Jewish tradition.
The return of the Jew is multi-layered. There was the return of the Jew in landscape, in intellectual and artistic landscape in Poland, and there's the return of the Jew in discourse and in imagery, but there's also the return of real life Jewish presence. Then there are the little returns in this younger generation in particular, the coming out of the closet and the pulling out of the secrets from the closet. So that's how I understand Return of the Jew. This is a quote from Alex, and this is what he says. I heard of Poles of the Mosaic faith, older brothers in faith, Israelites, and the like. If someone tries to ask me if I have Jewish ancestry, I raise my voice and say, yes, I am a Jew. Because I see it as an act of reclaiming the J word in the Polish language, of owning that word by Jews and retrieving it thus from anti-Semites. And that's also Return of the Jew. Poland produces more Jewish culture festivals than any other country in Europe. And the biggest Jewish culture festival in the world happens in Poland. I read about it in my book also, but the phenomenon of the revival of Jewish culture, which I don't really think is a revival of Jewish culture. I think it's a production of an entirely new Polish Jewish culture, contemporary Polish Jewish culture, which I think is fascinating. I think in the past years it has become a common enterprise for Jews and Poles. I spent nearly half of my life trying to reveal secrets in my family. And that process took over 18 years. We, in many ways, many of us bring out the Jewishness in our parents and not the other way around. Because we often, as was in my case, but not just in my case, we often discover Jewish roots for our parents, or we embrace the heritage for them. My mom, a few years ago, she had a keychain on her keys. She was at a store and she dropped her keys, and the keychain that I had given to her was a big hamsa that I brought from Israel, the hand symbol. She dropped her keys, and a young gentleman picked them up, and he stopped for a second. He saw the big keychain, and he himself had Jewish roots, or I don't know what he was about to say, but he picked it up and said, "Oh, you're Jewish," as he was giving the keys back to my mom. And she said, "No, but my daughter is." But last month, when we were in Wrocław, I wore a little hamsa on my neck. And the day I was leaving back for New York, my mom told me, "You have to give it to me. I want it. I'm going to wear it